Hello from House IQ. Depending on the age of the house, the locale, even if you're having a professional home inspector come through, there are certain conditions where you should just probably bring in an electrician to look for things like adequate grounding, aluminum wiring, or knob and tube wiring. Let's talk about knob and tube wiring. Wiring these days has three conductors, the hot side, the neutral side, and a ground, together in one non-metallic jacket. Wasn't always like that. Way back when, individual wires, one for the hot side, one for the neutral, and there was no ground, were simply run where power was needed. Where a wire ran along the framing of a house, it was held in place by a ceramic knob. Where a wire needed to run through the framing of a house, a hole was drilled, a ceramic tube was inserted, and the wire ran through the tube. Here's the problem. It's old. By now, the insulation on these wires may have deteriorated so much it could have fallen off in places, leaving the bare conductor exposed. It's a fire hazard. If the house you're looking at has knob and tube wiring, you need to get an electrician, one who has experience with knob and tube, to look over the entire system very carefully. You're probably better off if you push to get the house rewired.
Let's move on to the switches and outlets. Walk around the house and turn the light switches on and off. Do you see any sparks or flickering in the cracks around the switches? Do you hear a buzzing sound when you turn on a light? Do any of the lights flicker? Light switches. Do they control a ceiling light fixture, a fan, or a wall outlet? Make sure they control what they are supposed to control. Are there any 3- or 4-way switch setups anywhere in the house? Hallway, entryway. Do they work properly? Next, walk around the house and look at the outlets. What kind are they? If you saw an older panel, but newer 3-pronged outlets, then check for adequate grounding. Have a licensed electrician check over the electrical system. Next, see what's plugged in. This is the sort of thing you used to see at outlets, but now you're more likely to see this. There may not be enough outlets in the room, or the circuits may be too small. Now, to be fair, a power strip is a convenient way to turn the power on and off to several related pieces of equipment with just one switch. So if you do see a power strip, look to see what it powers. Is it a surge protector, for example, to protect the computer equipment from spikes in incoming voltage? That's one thing. But instead, if you see like an alarm clock, a cell phone charger, electric shaver, pencil sharpener, electric blanket, TV, chances are there just aren't enough outlets in the room. Turn on the lamps. Do they dim if a room air conditioner or some other hefty appliance comes on? Do the kitchen or dining room lights dim if a kitchen appliance is turned on? If the wiring is adequate, nothing should happen. Do any outlets look blackened around the slots for the plugs? Do you hear a buzzing sound from any outlet when something is plugged in and turned on? Do plugs fall out of the outlets? Outlets should hold the plugs firmly. Look for ground fault circuit interrupters, GFCI outlets, in the bathrooms and the kitchen. This outlet has a built-in circuit breaker as a safety feature. You use it where you might accidentally come into contact with water. If there's a problem, the breaker trips, shutting off power to just that outlet or any other outlets wired in downstream of that outlet. There are 2 buttons on the breaker. Push the one that says test to test the breaker. Push the one that says reset to reset the breaker. Is there a post lamp out in the yard? A wire runs from a house out to the post lamp. Are there any trees along the path that may grow to become a problem later on? Do the exterior lights work? Look for any exposed wiring in utility areas such as the garage. The wires should either be in a metal flex of some sort or in a conduit. Do you see any loose or broken connectors? Just because it's metal, by the way, doesn't mean it's waterproof. If there is wiring, say on the outside wall of the house, check to make sure the fittings and connectors are rated for outdoor use. Security lighting. A common configuration is to have an outdoor fixture with 1 or 2 halogen or large incandescent lamps and a combination motion light sensor to activate the lamps. When the sun goes down, the light sensor activates the fixture. If something moves across in front of the motion sensor, the lights come on for anywhere from just a few seconds to several minutes, depending on how the fixture is programmed. When the sun comes up, the light sensor deactivates the fixture. It turns it off. You can adjust the motion sensitivity as well. This helps the fixture distinguish between a human being and a cat. How is the fixture positioned? The sensor should be focused to watch the area that it needs to watch. It shouldn't be hidden behind trees or shrubs, or else the lamps will come on every time a branch blows in the breeze. It can't always be helped, but the light and motion sensor should not be exposed to direct sunlight. It wears out faster. Sensors can be more attuned to motion across the field of vision rather than a slow motion toward it. So test the security light fixture and make sure it works the way you need it to work.
I want to close with a word on safety. I've told you that both knob and tube wiring and aluminum wiring can be dangerous. I want to tell you why, so that when things go wrong, you've got some idea how to solve the problem. Let's talk about first what you should do. Well, that depends. If you've got an active fire, don't hesitate. Call the fire department immediately. I'm not kidding. It's a very real possibility. Matter of fact, if you're seriously considering buying a house with knob and tube wiring, check with various homeowners insurance companies to find out what the annual premium will cost, or if any insurance company will even cover the house to begin with. So what's dangerous about knob and tube wiring? It's old. It was from a time when electrical wire had cloth insulation. It could be 100 years old. The problem is the insulation dries out. It disintegrates, crumbles, falls apart. It falls off the wire. You've got bare wire conductors running through the attic and walls. Also, wiring techniques have changed over the years, so another problem with knob and tube wiring, it doesn't have the safety features of modern wiring installations, like grounding. A third problem, knob and tube wiring may not be able to deliver enough power for the typical modern household. This can lead to overloads, which can dangerously overstress the electrical system. Any of these three aspects can be a real fire hazard. Aluminum wiring. If the house you're looking at was built in the 60s, say 1963 to 1973, it could be wired with aluminum wiring. What's so dangerous about aluminum wiring? A bunch of things. Electricity flows through copper wiring so much more easily than aluminum wiring. So to do the same job, aluminum wiring needs a bigger diameter to handle the same amount of current. This can lead to overheating. Also, aluminum wiring expands and contracts more than copper. So connections, splices, or connections to outlets, even if they were tight to begin with, these can loosen over time. This increases the risk of fire. Aluminum, the metal itself, oxidizes when it's exposed to air. Electrical connections are hampered. This, too, increases heat buildup. Also, older aluminum wiring deforms under load, again leading to loose connections, even if the wire was installed correctly at the outset. If you're a DIYer at all, beware. If you have to someday replace an outlet or other device attached to aluminum wiring, make sure the new device you install is rated for use with aluminum wiring. Otherwise, you've simply replaced one fire hazard with another. But I'm going to be upfront with you. If you run into either of these wirings, knob and tube or aluminum, Even if you're having a professional home inspection done, still, you need to bring in a licensed electrician to look over the entire electrical system very carefully. I've got a lot more great stuff for you at houseiq.information. If you like what you've seen so far, do me a favor and tap the subscribe button so you don't miss future videos. And click the link to watch some more great stuff right now.